Welcome back, or if you're joining us for the first time, this is part 3 of our series on Trump accounts. I'm Julia Fuentes, Vanguard Financial Planning and Coaching Senior Specialist. Today we're zooming out. Where do Trump accounts fit in a client's financial plan? And when might another vehicle be better? So with me again is Joel Dickson, Global Head of Advised Strategies.
Thanks, Julia. It's great to be here. At the top here, I just want to highlight, we really see Trump accounts as and accounts, not or accounts. That is, every eligible child that can open a Trump account probably should, because there is free money out there that through government and philanthropic contributions over and above any individual contributions or family contributions that might be made. So go out, get one established. Then we'll start talking about where maybe to direct family savings.
Yes, advisors are starting to get questions about where to put the next dollar. And it usually comes down to, am I going to put money in a Trump account or a UTMA? What are your thoughts on that?
At a high level, Trump accounts are often not going to be kind of the best first dollar savings vehicle for family savings. What do I mean by that? They're a great vehicle to get all of this other potential free money that is out there. Employer contributions that might be available, government seed money contributions, other philanthropic contributions. But now when it comes to deciding, hey, should I do a Trump account or a UTMA to set up my kids for good financial success early in adulthood, gets a little bit more complicated. The tax considerations will tend to favor a UTMA. The accessibility, liquidity pieces will tend to benefit from a UTMA because by and large, you can't access the Trump account money prior to the year in which the kid turns 18. And then after that, it's subject to IRA rules of taxes at ordinary income tax rates and potential kiddie tax, potential penalty. So all to say, UTMAs may end up, for many people, being a better option for money that the kids may want to have as they enter adulthood.
Yeah, another one that comes up a lot are 529s in Trump accounts. So how do we think about the trade-offs? There's tax treatment, flexibility, financial aid impact. What are your thoughts there?
This starts to get somewhat complicated quickly. High level, if the goal is to save for education, 529 is probably going to be a better vehicle to do so. Mm-hmm. And there are a number of reasons for that, but by and large, it's better taxability considerations in the 529, better accessibility, withdrawal both prior to age 18, and the effect on financial aid eligibility is also better from a 529 account standpoint than from the Trump account standpoint.
Yeah, can we dig a little bit deeper into financial aid for families that are concerned about financial aid eligibility?
Yeah, this is where it starts getting really complicated. Basically, if you're taking a withdrawal from a Trump account, it's gonna not be particularly attractive from a financial aid standpoint. That is, you could lose a decent amount of financial aid eligibility with the Trump account relative to funding education expenses through 529, which is much, much more favorable in terms of financial aid eligibility.
That makes sense. So a lot of families, they have teens that are working teens. So how do we think about Trump accounts and Roth IRAs?
We've kind of touched on the kind of major goals that you might think of investing and setting your kid up for a good financial future, right? The UTMA question is often one about emergency savings or house down purchase and so forth. What are those goals kind of early in adulthood and how best to fund those? Education, another one that we just talked about. This final one is really about thinking about saving for retirement. Right? Yeah. And so if you're going to use a Trump account for saving for your child's retirement, getting them off to a really early start, right? Yeah. That in many ways is probably the best use case for Trump accounts for individual savings because it is a form of an IRA. And And it allows you to start on that path much earlier in life because you don't have to have earned income to be eligible. And then you can also do $5,000 a year, and it doesn't count towards the IRA contribution limit, at least before the year in which the child turns 18. So the working teen example is a really interesting one, because if the teen now has earned income, they can make an IRA contribution up to $7,500. That amount can still be made to the IRA, and often people will do it in a Roth IRA in that case. But you can also then make another $5,000 contribution to a Trump account, subject to the eligibilities, because there isn't an earned income test, and it doesn't take away from the IRA contribution limit. It can be really a way to jumpstart retirement savings for children and for teens.
Perfect. Let's talk about the taxability of these accounts a little bit deeper, because that's where advisors really add a lot of value.
The taxes are very much like an IRA. So, if you have you make withdrawals, the earnings will be subject to taxes in excess of any after-tax contributions, which are basically just the individual contributions that are made to Trump accounts. So any earnings or any other contributions will be taxed at the ordinary income of the child, subject to potential penalty if it's not for a qualified withdrawal. Yeah. But that's where there are often quite a lot of differences between Trump accounts and these other types of accounts that we're talking. So, for example, UTMAs, oftentimes you'll have ongoing taxes every year, which you don't have in the Trump account. It's tax deferred. Mm-hmm. But, upon withdrawal, UTMAs are normally just subject to capital gains taxes as opposed to ordinary income taxes as would be in the Trump account. 529 plans for qualified withdrawals, they're not taxed at all. Whereas in Trump accounts, qualified withdrawals, they may still be subject to tax, but not penalty. So a big difference there. And for Roth IRAs, if the account is more than 5 years old and you're older than 59 and a half, any amounts taken out are completely tax-free. That's also not true in the Trump account, is that it works with the traditional IRA rules that any taxable amounts are subject to ordinary income tax. So they're an important consideration for advisors in helping their clients guide them to kind of the best savings choices for their children.
Yes, so we talked a lot about different investment vehicles for different goals and the taxability of them, but ultimately the advisor is going to have a client sitting in front of them and they're going to say, hey, is this account worth it?
Trump accounts are complements to other youth savings strategies. They are not a substitute for them per se. Every eligible child should probably have a Trump account. Now, when it comes, though, to their goals, whether it's saving for a house down payment or having some financial flexibility come early adulthood or saving for retirement possibly or saving for education, that's where I think a lot of times advisors will find that Trump accounts may not be the first source of savings for those other strategies for their clients on behalf of their kids. That's why we say it's an and, not an or account. Now, obviously, if you've maxed out your savings in all the other areas, yeah, absolutely. It's another tax-deferred vehicle. Take advantage of the Trump account. But for the first dollar savings and strategies, the Trump account may not always be the first choice.
Thanks so much, Joel. That was very helpful. So that wraps our 3-part series on Trump accounts. If you missed part 1 or 2, you can go back, watch those, learn about eligibility, setup, contributions, and tax mechanics. Thanks for spending time with us and for helping families build smart, disciplined plans for their kids.